Awesome. Well, thanks for joining us, everyone. I'm Russ.
I'm Mark.
And this is a spirited endeavor.
Snow edition.
That's right, yeah.
Yeah, North Georgia, we got a little snow happening here tonight, so it's actually kind of pretty.
Oh, it's gorgeous.
Oh,
yeah.
man, what a nice night.
I really thought we were going to get through this season without snow, and I was a little disappointed, so it's nice to finally see some of that white stuff out there.
And brings out my inner New Englander.
Exactly. Well, we had clam chowder tonight, so...
We had clam chowder, fritters.
Chowder.
Yeah. All right. Well, we got a fun night tonight. We're exploring one distillery, and this is Broken Barrel.
Yeah, and they're a really interesting distillery.
They really are. They're out of Los Angeles, California, and they believe in passion with purpose is their motto.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they're really doing some interesting things. So most of these are bourbon, at least bourbon base.
Mm-hmm.
And many of them have like a mash bill that will include like corn, or excuse me, it'll be corn and then rye and barley.
Yep.
So some of these are like a mix of grains, and that really brings out some interesting notes that we've tried in other whiskeys.
The biggest thing I think for me is their finishes.
Oh yes.
Some of the most unique finishes I've seen.
So what they do is they'll actually break up barrels of various kinds and just drop it into the whiskey,
mm-hmm.
and let the whiskey pull out some of the flavors in the staves.
Yeah, and that brings up a point. I mean, only one of these is actually considered, or even for that matter, labeled as a bourbon,
Right.
because they're not being aged in new oak casks, rather than being in a cask. The cask is actually being put into the whiskey, so a bit of a flip there, but an interesting one.
Yeah, for sure. And that would be the California. So this is the California oak, and this is the one that we're really, this is what I'm actually the most intrigued about. And this is batch number 1. So I'm really excited about that.
Well, we've got 2 of them, I think, that have wine finishes of some sort. I
Yes.
think the California oak uses California wine barrels that were previously used, and then I think the one...
Yeah, the Cask of Amontillado.
Yep. So that should be interesting to see what that brings to the equation.
Yeah, and this actually uses California wine barrels,
Mm-hmm.
and they'll break them up and actually drop them in there.
Now, all of these are pretty attainable from what we were talking about earlier.
It's true. They're all of them are about $40 for a bottle,
Mm-hmm.
so not real crazy, and not every liquor store. I had to travel around to a couple of different liquor stores, but one of them that was local to us had all of them, had the entire line, and I was really excited to see that today.
Yeah, maybe something to keep an eye out for. Just to, if you like bourbon and you want to try something a little different, this may be the direction to go.
Absolutely. The different finishes in here is what's exciting. Now we've tried the Isle of Peat here, and they actually used Islay barrels in this. So we did that as part of a Scotch tasting.
Yeah.
To put that up against a Scotch, and it was kind of interesting.
It was. I think it was a bit of an unfair comparison at the time,
Yes.
because we were going for some pretty peaty scotches, and this, you're only going to get so much of that influence from the staves. So I'm interested, as we were discussing a moment ago, of seeing what we pick up on now, since we've had more time with bourbons and stuff of that nature, to see what we pick up that perhaps we didn't before.
Yeah, very good. And I think we're going to start with this one tonight.
Awesome.
All right, so let's see what we think about it now.
So lots of color.
Yeah.
Lots of color. Actually, a little lighter in the glass. Must be the label was throwing me off.
Yeah, maybe the label, so maybe the lighting in the room.
Yeah.
But
Nice glass cling to it.
now this one,
Holy crap! Yeah.
yeah, for sure. Let's see here. I think that this one was aged. I was just reading on they actually printed on the bottle. I think this one was. Okay, so this one is a single malt whiskey aged a minimum of 1 year.
Okay, interesting. So yeah, so Scotch is single malt, and that has to be aged at least 4 years if I remember correctly.
Right.
So yeah, going to be a different experience, a little bit younger.
Yeah, for sure.
Definitely picking up on the nose now. I don't remember really noticing it quite as
Oh yeah.
much
Yeah.
as I am now.
Yeah. I'm getting the peat.
Yeah,
I'm getting that Scotch influence in that.
yeah. It's not smoky. It's more peaty than smoky in my
Right.
opinion.
Yeah, I'm not picking up any smoke on that. But it's got that's got a beautiful nose to that.
It really does.
So you're getting the smoke on that, but you're also getting the vanilla notes and the caramel.
I'm getting a strong toffee type.
Yeah, very strong
Note to
toffee.
it.
Yeah.
And there's a wood note to it.
Yeah.
It's almost like old barn wood or something.
Yeah. Yeah, I see where you get that.
Yeah.
So it's spicy. You get a little bit of barrel spice and everything. I would expect that out of a young whiskey.
Wow.
You know, that really does have a nice caramel note on
It
the
really
back.
does. And I still get that woody note to it. Wow, that back end. That finish is strong.
Yeah, I'm wondering if that's the stave that we're tasting in that.
Yeah. It is. It was tannic initially, no doubt about that.
Now we've also, we've let this sit a little bit too. So
Oh,
we're
that's a good
past the
point.
neck pour,
Yeah, we got a little air in there.
little air in there, and I think it mellowed it out just a little bit.
Yeah, there's definitely some heat to this one. The alcohol is definitely pretty forward, but not off-putting in my opinion.
No,
The
this
flavors
is,
are fantastic.
man, I love that caramel note in that.
I think my opinion's actually improved on this one.
Yeah, I don't think we rated this one very high, but
No.
again, we didn't have a lot to go
Yeah.
by at that point.
Yeah, I really like the nose on that.
Man, I'm enjoying that. Got good palate cling too. I mean,
Yeah.
you're really getting that long, lingering finish.
There's a nice long finish on it. The youth definitely helps. It keeps it a little bright. It's not overly dark. The peat's really nice. It's an earthy peat. Again, you're not really getting much in the way of smoke, but there's a wood note to this that I haven't really seen in any other whiskey, and I think that's got to be because of stave being put into the whiskey as opposed to the whiskey just being housed in a barrel.
Right.
Really
Right.
cool.
Probably a lot of surface area to pull
Right.
from some of that flavor.
Well, and the other thing is when it's in the barrel, whiskey's only exposed to the surface, whereas you put a stave in there, okay, you've got all surfaces that are now exposed, including those that, from where it was cut.
Yeah, absolutely. The interior of that piece of wood.
Right,
You're,
so
you're
instead of
getting
just
that.
a charred surface.
Oh man,
Yeah, that's really
that's.
cool. It's,
I'm glad we circled back to this.
Yeah,
one.
me too. I'm really glad we gave this a second chance, because this is, much better than I remember it. We must have been having something pretty peaty and smoky to make this one seem tame.
Yeah, I think so. I think we were probably drinking
Probably
Islay.
Islays, yeah.
Yeah, because of. Yeah, in fact, I know we were because of the Islay influence in us. I think that was a mistake.
I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's definitely like a lumber type note to that. Really cool. Really cool. Picked up on a lot more this time around than I did the first time, which is very interesting to me.
Right, and having a little bit of bourbon or a little bit of other single malts,
Oh, yeah.
under our belt, I
Yeah.
think that really helped.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, definitely need a palate cleanse after that.
Yeah, no doubt. That one's going to stick around a minute.
Yeah, for sure. So the next one is going to be the Mouth of Zara. So you were doing a little research on the wood.
Really interesting story to this actually. So, in World War II, one of the main beverages, whiskey or alcoholic beverages that the Japanese were using during the war was whiskey. It really gained popularity there. But the problem for Japan during the war was the fact they couldn't import barrels. So they didn't have access to American oak or European oak or anything like that, so they had to start using their own. And that's basically what this is named after. Now, the interesting thing about Japanese oak is, in order to use it, it has to be aged 200 years. So obviously that's going to hurt supply.
Yes.
It tends to be a very damp or moist wood, which makes working it a little bit more difficult. And it's also a porous wood, which means they're more prone to leakage. But what we've found over time, since the war has ended, is that this wood imparts some very unique flavors, like sandalwood, stuff of that nature, that you wouldn't get from European oak or American oak. So, very curious to see what's been imparted with this one.
Yeah, I am too. I mean, now we've done a couple of Japanese whiskeys
Yep.
before, and they had some very unique flavors to them. Like one of them was like a burned rubber kind of flavor, and which I thought was really interesting. But it's brought some very unique notes to it.
What's interesting about this is it makes this Japanese wood accessible, because generally it's only used on very high-end whiskeys, because again the supply is so limited on it that the barrels are very, very expensive. So for them to be able to use the staves in the way that they're doing is really clever.
Agreed. And for $40 for a bottle,
Yeah.
I mean that's worth getting just to get a little bit of that flavor.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, otherwise you're looking at $300 to $500 for a bottle of something that's been aged in this stuff for any real duration. And they say 20 years is the best as far as aging for this. I'll let you do the honors.
Very good. Okay, so this one also had a little bit of interesting notes on the bottle, and I'll just read them here. So this one is a 4-year-old Indiana corn whiskey, fortified with 5-year-old Kentucky corn whiskey, and this is bottle 1265 out of 6600, limited edition. So.
And they just call this an American whiskey because, again, it wasn't aged in new oak casks, so they can't really consider it to be bourbon. But yeah, that's I gotta say, I give them a lot of credit. What they're doing is very, very clever.
Oh wow! All right, I definitely get the sandalwood in that.
Yep.
That's sandalwood. That's caramel.
Yeah.
Oh, wow! I think.
The sandalwood is definitely forward on that.
I know that really puts a nice, a nice aroma in the nose, and just kind of lingers there, and
yeah.
And then I'm really getting that caramel note that that you get from a bourbon, that you get from the corn.
Wow,
that's amazing.
Yeah, I love the nose on that. I love the sandalwood aspect. For some reason, it reminds me of Oceanside.
Yeah.
Without having the salt and brine, but just the kind of that teak wood almost and sandalwood.
Yeah, for sure. All right, you gotta try this one. Wow, that is as smooth a whiskey as I've ever drank.
Yeah, that is not tannic. I was really expecting very heavy tannins, that sort of thing. I'm not getting that. Nice. It's got good texture to it too. It's not thin. It coats the palate well.
Yeah, I'm getting those sandalwood influences in that.
That reminds me of some of the Japanese whiskey we've had.
It does.
Really does.
It really does.
There's some similar notes there.
Yeah, it's very different. It's got to be that oak influence in there, because those are unique flavors, and I'm trying to suss them out, and I'm having difficulty with this.
Yeah, it's very unique. It's not something that you would normally find on the palate as far as American whiskeys, or even Scotch for that matter. It makes me wonder how the barrel that these staves came from, how that was used. Because if that had Japanese whiskey in it, that would explain why I'm getting some similar notes here, besides just the wood impact.
Right. So I have this hand soap that I've been using. It's sandalwood and vanilla, and man, that just reminds me of that. I'm getting the vanilla influence. I'm getting the some caramel toffee notes on the back end, but that sandalwood,
Yeah. I get where you're coming from. There is something that comes across as a bit soapy in nature, not in an unpleasant way. Really no burn whatsoever. The ABV is really well concealed on this one. Kind of curious as to what that is now.
I think this one was
Under proof, so 50. Wow.
Yeah, 50%
It hides it
ABV.
really
Yeah.
well.
I would not have guessed that ever.
No, not at all. The first one I could see that being in the 50 ballpark because it had that burn. This one certainly does not.
Wow, what amazing find that was.
I have to agree. That's cool. Completely different animal. If you're curious what the Japanese are bringing to the table as far as whiskeys are concerned and what the Japanese oak is doing, a really good way of experiencing that without dropping a huge amount of money on a bottle.
Yeah, exactly. Dropping a couple of $100 on a bottle.
Right.
Yeah, but that's fabulous.
What's funny to me is that the corn from the whiskey isn't real forward, and I think that's because some of the wood impact kind of pushed that to the back some.
Yeah, what I'm really getting out of that is vanilla.
Yeah, to me this is nothing like a bourbon. Just a straight up whiskey, almost similar to a Scotch in some regards.
Yeah.
As far as that vanilla note.
Yeah, if it had more of a herbal note, then I would say this is probably akin to a rye, but you know, it really does have that beautiful caramel note to it.
Yeah, I like that. Very unique. I'm impressed. I am definitely impressed.
That's delicious.
Yeah, it really is. Wow, really cool experience.
Okay.
All right, so
I'm going to savor that for a moment.
Yeah, both of those are really good, but that one is so unique.
All right. Well, let's move on to the next year. So this is going to be the California Oak, and let me give you a little bit of specs on this one. This one is 88 proof, so 44% ABV. So that's going to be kind of mild. So the mash bill on this is 70% corn, 21% rye, and 9% malted barley. And it's 80% California Central Coast Cabernet Cask staves, and 20% new French oak.
So there's rye, and then you've got some wine influence. Oh man,
this is going to be all over the place, and I think it's going to be bonkers, and it's going to be awesome.
I bet it's pretty mild though. I mean, with that kind of ABV.
All right.
Oh, I'm real curious about this one. Oof. Yeah, that's not going to be dull.
Not at all. I think this one's
Nice
gonna be a
color.
little, oh yeah, this is a little darker than the others.
Yeah, there's a little bit of a reddish tint as you were pouring it. Some of that's the light going through, but oh no, there's definitely more of a reddish tint.
Yeah,
It's more amber than gold.
All right, batch number 001. All right. Yeah, I mean, that's beautiful color.
Yeah.
I don't think any of these are chill filtered.
No, I'd be shocked if they were.
Yeah, that's there's too many oils and everything going on for that.
Agreed.
It's so light on the nose.
Yeah, not as heavy as I was expecting with the wine influence. I'm a little surprised by that.
Yeah, I expected to get a couple of tannins and maybe a little fruit forward, and I'm not really getting that.
Now I'm warming the glass with my hand a little bit just to try and, bring off a little bit more in the way of vapors and aroma, and I'm picking up a little bit more of the fruit notes.
Oh yeah.
But very subtle.
Yeah. Warming.
You have to hunt for them.
Yeah, warming up the glass helps. But still not crazy.
No, not at all.
Nothing overpowering. There's nothing off-putting in this at all.
Agreed. All right. Oh wow. That finish. On the palate it wasn't anything special, but that finish, holy crap.
A little spicy.
Pretty smooth though. I mean, as far as the ABV is concerned, it's mild, but I agree, there's certainly some barrel spice going on there.
Yeah, and that's what it is. It's not an alcohol burn, it's barrel spice.
Yeah.
And you're catching that on the back end.
Yeah.
It's not...
But man, through the sinuses, it's like there's this burst of like floral and fruity flavors that go through.
Yeah, I'm getting the wine influence in that.
Oh,
it feels like
yeah.
a dry, a dry wine.
Yeah, I agree. Wow.
Yeah. Now this one is rated like 5 out of 5 on,
Yeah.
that we've seen, across the internet.
I don't know, personally for me, I don't know that I'd agree with this. This one, it's not what you would call well-rounded. It's not balanced. For me personally, on the palate, I'm getting very little. It's very subtle on the palate. And it's not until after I swallow it and I do that first exhale through my sinuses that, holy crap, it's just this burst of like floral and fruit and so on and so forth. But on the palate, it's surprisingly sedate.
Yeah. Now on the finish, I'm getting like this. I don't know, like a tannin or something on the back end that I'm not really enjoying.
And I think that's, that has to go with the raw edge of the stave, I would think. Because I was picking up on it in some of the other ones. The Japanese one, I think, was least. But on the Islay one, I picked up on it as well. And the only thing I can think of is got to be the raw edge of the wood from where they're breaking the stave off.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm thinking too. I mean, it's tasty. I mean, I
Oh,
like
yeah.
it, but on the back end, there's just something that's just a little off-putting.
Yeah, it's neat. I like what it delivers on the finish. Afterwards, for the most part, like I said, that burst of floral and fruit. But the way it goes from being really sedate to bam, all that, it just strikes me as being a bit immature. It's not balanced. They haven't sorted this one out. I think they could probably do a little bit more work as far as barrel time or something of that nature to kind of balance this out to where you get those flavors across the palate instead of just getting nailed with them at the tail end.
Yeah, so aged a minimum of 1 year in new charred oak. So it's a very young whiskey.
Yeah.
It's a very young whiskey, and I think it shows.
I agree wholeheartedly. Yeah. Interesting though. I mean, the way the wine came through at the tail end was very interesting, and again, the impact that the stave has as opposed to just being in a barrel is kind of interesting as well. But that one is not my favorite. I think I find that to be weaker than the other two that we've had.
Yeah, agreed. I don't think it's a bad whiskey, and I will certainly happily drink it, but I don't think it would be my favorite.
Yeah.
Okay, so that one had my curiosity. This one is the most intriguing. So this is the Cask of Amontillado, and this is really where the other ones are made with purpose and passion. This one is made with vengeance and malice.
I love it.
Yeah, I know. I'm intrigued with this bottle. The artwork on it is amazing with the Edgar Allan Poe influences and everything on it.
Yeah, very cool.
This one is a 12-year-old whiskey, a 12-year-old whiskey aged and fortified with 5-year-old Kentucky corn whiskey. And this is bottle 53040 6600.
Interesting.
So they're all limited editions. This one's 110 proof, so 55% ABV. So very similar to the Mouth of Zara.
Yeah, I'll be curious to see how it handles the ABV. And maybe that was part of the problem on that last one. Maybe it's because the ABV was lower. Maybe if the ABV was a little bit higher, we'd have gotten some of those other notes. So I think everything else here has been around 50.
Except for the except for that one.
So nice dark color again, wine influence. More of an amber than a gold.
Oh, I like the nose on that.
Yeah, this one's a little bit nicer. There's a little bit more going on with the nose.
Yeah, I'm definitely getting the wine influence in that.
Yeah.
There's a little bit of fruit on the nose.
Yep.
Yeah, kind of like a dark fruit, like a cherry maybe.
Yeah, not really getting much in the way of an oak or anything of that nature.
Nothing like that. I'm not getting a lot of vanilla or caramel notes in that.
No.
A little bit of I don't know. Maybe a slightly woody note.
Yeah. Yep.
But man, that smells amazing.
Yeah, that's one of those. This is a whiskey that smells so good you're gonna start salivating.
I know, right? I think I am.
Yeah.
Pardon me while I wipe a little drool off my chin here.
Mm.
Mmm.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. So like the Mizunara,
Oh.
that is much smoother than I would expect from a 50% ABV.
Yeah. And there's rye in this one.
Yeah.
A significant amount of rye.
Yeah, I'm getting those herbal notes.
Oh yeah, but pair that with the wine influence, really neat.
Wow.
I like that. Really nice mouthfeel, really nice on the palate, a nice warmth to it. Not something I would consider bright, more darkened as far as the notes are concerned is the way it hits me, but so deep and rich.
Actually perfect for a nice snowy night like
Oh,
tonight.
it really is.
Mm.
Yeah, I think that's my favorite so far.
I think so. I think I'm with you on that one.
Yeah,
I think the Mitzunara is a close second.
I agree with
But
that.
man, that is just amazing.
It's a lot of complexity.
Yeah, where the Mitzunara was bright
Mhm.
and had a nice cheery finish. This is dark and maybe a little sinister, and I like it.
I agree. Yeah, really neat contrast between the two.
Mm.
Yeah, if you like a rye or a high rye bourbon and you want to try something with a little bit of a different flavor to it, this would be a good one to go with. I really like that. That works
really-
well.
And again, for about $40 for a bottle.
Yeah,
my
you
God.
can't hate that.
My God, this is a distillery to keep our eyes on.
And you said there was some 12-year in this?
Yeah, 12-year.
Wow, that's where some of that flavor is coming from.
Yeah, 12-year-old whiskey fortified with 5-year-old Kentucky corn whiskey.
Wow. Yeah, I'm impressed. That
Yeah.
one is
Let me see if there's a mash
right
bill
up my
on it.
alley.
Yeah, I don't think it had a mash bill on it, but yeah.
Well, there's no mistake in the rye in that, though.
What a fun whiskey this is.
Yeah, it really is. Fun distillery.
Fun distillery. Oh my
I mean,
God.
again, I give them a lot of credit. That's very clever what they're doing.
Mm.
And the fact that they've made the Japanese aspect so attainable at just $40 is really cool.
Yeah, that one was a surprise for me.
Mm.
I think this one's my favorite, but that one, oh my God, I'm gonna spend some time with the Mizunara.
Yeah, I think that's in order. So, Henry's asking if we can put these in the order of preference. So, based on our discussions, I think we find that the one on the left is our favorite. Easy enough. There you go.
There you go. Okay, so Cask of Amontillado, number 1.
Yep.
Mizunara, number 2. Peat, Peat, number 3. And then the California Oak, number 4.
Yeah. Which is interesting because the California Oak was actually higher ranked on the internet than the other ones.
I know, right?
I can't agree with that one, unfortunately.
Well, I think our palates are, I think they're a little more unique, or maybe
we're pretty particular.
we're
Right?
pretty particular at this
We
point.
know
I'm not
we
gonna
are.
say unique because,
Yeah.
but I think the journey we've taken have kind of led us in a certain direction.
Well, certainly. I mean, I know my experience with this early on was completely different from my experience now, and I'm picking up things now that I certainly didn't get the previous time. But again, my biggest complaint with this one is you want something that's well balanced, that hits all parts. You want something on the nose that's of interest, you want something on the palate that's of interest, and the finish should be of interest. That one was weak on the nose, weak on the palate, and then the finish was just bam. I wish that finish could be kind of transferred over to those other areas where it was lacking, because it would be very pleasant.
Yeah, and I don't dislike it.
No.
Not even a little bit, but comparing it to the other selections on this,
Yeah.
you know, there's others I prefer, and not that I think that anything in that's lacking.
No, really interesting. Again, would definitely recommend if you're wanting to experiment a little bit. God, man, I would certainly pick those two up.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, these two for sure, high recommends.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think if we were to put them on our scale, and we don't usually like to do our scales on Saturdays, but I think in this case maybe we oughta.
Yeah, I think it's a good idea. For me, I'm gonna go 4.5 on the tail end there, the Cask of Amontillado. Yeah, I'm gonna let you say that.
Yeah.
Yeah, easy for you to say. I'm gonna go 4.5 on that one. I don't quite put it at a 5 because I've had some other whiskeys, both American and Scottish or others for that matter, that I thought were a little bit better. But I appreciate what they're doing, and I really like it, so I'm going to go 4.5. The Japanese whiskey, I am also going to go 4.5 because I think they're neck and neck. They just offer very different approaches,
Yes.
but both equally impressive. The Isle of Peat, I'm going to go with a 3 on that one. I think it's of interest. I think there's a few rough edges on that that I was picking up on that I just didn't particularly care for. Again, there was an aspect of like licking the piece of licking a 2x4 or something.
Yeah.
That just came across. It was a little off-putting. So that's keeping it from going higher. So a 3 on that one, and then I think the tail end here for the California, I'm going to go for a 2 on that one myself.
Okay, I gotcha. So, you know, the more I've been thinking about it, the more I think I want to make the Mouth of Zara. Yeah, I've been thinking about it and kind of rolling it around my head, and I want to do another side by side tasting with it too. But I think I'm gonna bump that one up, and I'm gonna have that one as my 4.5.
Okay.
I'm gonna give this one a 4, because I mean I really like that. You know, this is bright, where this is dark, and I think the brightness of this is something that just appeals to me right now.
Yeah.
Where the darkness and this sinister aspect of this, and I really think it really is that.
Oh, it is. No doubt.
You know, I think that's intriguing and something I would love to do like at Halloween. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, now that we're getting into spring, you know, heading towards spring, I think I'm more into this one. Yeah, again, I think that's a solid 3. I think the Isle of Peat is a solid 3, and that one I'm going to give it a 1.5.
Okay.
I am not a fan of that one. I'm not I'm you know comparatively,
right.
But I think there's just something on the back end that I just don't enjoy.
Well, and the thing that concerns me about that is I can't even say make a good mixer because the palate is so weak on it that I think whatever you put it in, it's going to get overpowered until you get that exhale, and then you're suddenly going to get this. Yeah, I don't know, man.
I would almost want to recask that one.
I'd want to try something. I'd blend it.
I'd blend
it with something else. You know what? I think I'd blend that with a single malt.
Oh, that's a.
And try to bring those notes in on the palate and leave the floral and fruity notes on the finish. I bet that becomes really tasty.
You know what? You get that spade burn.
I think that would be a good way to go.
All right,
Hold on 1 second. Let's do this.
All right, let's do this. All right, I'm gonna pull a little bit of this broken barrel. All right, let's.
So this is Spade Burn, which is about $25-$30. It's a Speyside single malt, real. It's not complex, nice, sweet, malty, what you would expect. Let's see what this adds to the equation.
Yeah, the Spade Burn is very similar to like a Glenmorangie. It's there's not a lot of complexity to it. It's a vanilla bomb. It's very smooth. But I think I think that might take some of the rough edges out of this.
Yeah, Ron says, sounds like that tin cup I tried last night, and yeah, that actually crossed my mind when we tried this. Your review of the tin cup, I think, would be very appropriate here.
Okay. Okay, so that brightens up the nose on that a
Okay, so
lot.
we actually have a nose now. That's
We
a
have a
plus.
nose. All right. Yes. Yes.
Yep, that did exactly.
That
what
did
we're looking
exactly
for.
what we wanted. All right. So
I
that.
like that.
Yeah. I think that's right. I think this needs to be blended.
I agree. And what better way to blend it than a cask? It just then becomes, what ratio do we want to use to get what we want? But I agree, that brought the palate up, and then the fruity and floral notes from that kind of helped the spay burn out.
Because the spay burn isn't very complex.
No, it really is.
You know, it's it's a Glenmorangie, but kind of like 50% of a Glenmorangie.
Right.
And so I mean, it's smooth, it's vanilla, it's a shortbread cookie, it's all of that, but not dialed up to 11. I mean, it's dialed up to like 7.
Yeah, when I first tried that, it's pleasant. Don't get me wrong, and I enjoy something simple on occasion. I've got a couple in my bar for that reason, although generally they're blends, and that to me is a single malt that comes across like a blend as far as how smooth it is and how just kind of one-dimensional it is. But this seems to be a really good purpose for it.
I think so. I think those two even each other out.
I agree.
They make this a lot more complex.
Yeah, it would be interesting to mess with variation in quantities between the two, the ratios, to see exactly what would be preferable, but that may be something worth looking at.
Yeah, because right now, I mean, because we did
That's
about a
much better.
50-50 blend, and
Yeah,
I think if we did a 70-25 or 70-30 blend,
that's what I'm thinking.
yeah, that might be about perfect.
Yeah. Well, and what's interesting is the spay burn is partially aged in sherry cask. So that's a wine finish, and then this one's got California wines as part of the stave. So there is a significant influence, but it's well balanced because I think the sherry aspect brings something different than what the California barrel staves are bringing.
Yeah, no,
Yeah, I like
this
that
I
much
like.
better.
Yeah,
Much better. There's a decent nose on it. That actually seems to be improving as it's had time to kind of blend a little bit.
yeah. Get a little air in that glass and everything, and that seems to be pulling it together. This seems to be a nice little combination.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah,
That's much better.
Not bad.
I'd drink that.
I would drink that. I think if we were to take those two and put them in a cask and let it age for a little bit too.
Yeah.
I
Keep
think
it
that
coming,
might.
Mary.
Yeah.
Yep. No, I think that's a really good idea. Cool. Look at this.
Yeah, I think we
blended
might have to-
whiskeys.
Right. I think we need to do that. We'll get a little a small one, like a 1.5
Yeah.
liter, and maybe blend these two together.
Yeah. Be very interesting. Wow. Really cool whiskeys tonight, though.
Oh man, this has been so much fun.
Well, this may be one that I do a deep dive on at some point, just as a distillery, because they clearly are willing to go to other distilleries to get product for their blends, to see exactly who they're going to and how much of it is their own versus others, and so on and so forth. And again, it's clever. Clearly, they're not bound by specific roles. They're willing to kind of bend the rules a little bit as far as using staves and going to other distillers for their product. It seems like they're more concerned about the final result, meeting what they have in mind, which I think is really cool. That's something that I think you don't find quite as often in Scotch. We found a couple distilleries that handle it in that way, Bruichladdich and Port Charlotte being some of our favorites, Kilchoman being another one, but these guys, again, love what they're doing. I think it's really cool. Not everyone's a hit, but that's the risk that you run when you're trying to kind of go outside the lines.
Yeah, very, very true. I really like what they're doing.
Yeah.
They're a young distillery. I think there's going to be a lot. I think Broken Barrel is going to be one that we're going to hear a lot more about coming up
Yeah.
you know, in the future.
Absolutely. Well, this kind of goes back to the Whiskey Wednesday where we were talking about supporting local craft distilleries. And while this isn't local to us, it is a smaller craft distillery. And again, it's a very unique one. So I think it's fantastic to be able to feature them on a show.
Well, I tell you what, Los Angeles and the Lynn are always that far apart on the map.
That's right. Yeah. Hop, skip, and a jump.
There you go. All right. So next week, what do you think we want to do? I think we need to get back to Scotch.
I agree. I've been drinking a lot of bourbon lately, and while I enjoy the hell out of that, I'm kind of jonesing for some Scotch again.
All right. Well, I think I got a couple of Juros that we can play with.
Now, Jura always has my attention, so I'm curious about that.
Yeah, for sure. Okay. Well, we got a couple of Juros that we'll play with, and maybe do just a deep dive on the Jura distillery.
I think that'd be a good idea. It's a very unique island with some very interesting history to it, and then you get to the distillery itself, and that's a whole other ballgame.
Well, we got the 7 wood, we got the 10-year. I've got the I've got a special edition one over there. I can't recall the
Did
name
you say
of
you
it.
had the 10-year?
Yeah, I have the 10-year.
Oh, okay. Damn. I was looking for an excuse to buy another bottle. I might have to anyhow.
Hey,
I
don't
don't
let
think
me
you have
stop you.
enough.
I don't think we have enough.
Yeah, we need more.
Yeah,
I'll
we
buy
need
another
more.
bottle.
Yeah. All right, so Jura next week. Let's do that.
I like that. I think that sounds like a great idea. It's Jura. Can't go wrong there.
Not at all. Not at all. Okay, guys. Well, we appreciate you hanging out with us tonight.
Yeah.
We had so much fun with this, and let us know what you're drinking, how you're drinking it. You know, we certainly want to hear you, and you know, if you got recommendations for us, you know, give them, you know, send them over. You can find us on Facebook, with or YouTube and Instagram. Just type in @Spirited Endeavor,
Yeah.
and you can find us. We're pretty accessible, and we seem to be getting a little bit of a following now, and that's good.
Yeah.
That's been kind of fun.
And Ron did a nice review of the tin cup, which I thought was interesting, and I'm a little disappointed, to be honest, that that was a little better. So tin cup, based on some research that I did, is based on Stranahan single malt combined with MGP, which is generally like bullet bourbon and stuff of that nature. And he said it was a little lacking when it came time for to any spice, I should say, or anything of that nature. It's really mild.
I appreciate it, Ron.
yeah,
Thank
definitely.
you for the thank you for the notes on that one.
Yeah, I certainly learned something.
Yeah, if you got notes, you know, send them out, post them up to our page, you know, and we certainly love to hear from you.
Yeah.
So thanks for hanging out with us tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. Been fun, guys. Hope you guys had a good time too. And we will catch you on Wednesday.
All right, Sláinte.
Take care.